universe is not complete without the sun, moon, and stars. That's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Man, woman, and child.
We had community, what I experienced growing up where I grew up in Arkansas. We had the type of community that from the sun being up to the sun going down, I could ride my bike the entire day throughout the entire neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And if I did something on one street before I got home, if I didn't get a whooping but while I was in the streets, before I got home, the word was already back to my house. And this was before the cell phone.
Yeah.
You know, before the cell phone became as popular.
Sure.
And so what you're seeing is that, and what we've talked about, you know, just throughout this episode, is we're talking about collective community work where we all lean on each other and we're leaning in to the idea of something greater, something higher.
That's right. And I feel it. This is a great intro to our second segment because I wanted to. So I watched the recap that you, Brother Nakia and Brother Chu did on year one. And so I think I'm a deep thinker, but I'm like, you know what? I know journey, I know process. I don't know you guys. That's why we're here today. But I'm curious for this second year, have there been any highlights or like things that you guys came to learn that, or guests? So let me ask you this, because this is something that stood out. When you guys were coming up with the acronym of legacy, like, was that easy? Did everybody kind of just throw words out there for each letter? And do you guys base your guests on that? Like the different, you know, like the love. I just was curious.
I don't think maybe not knowingly, but anybody that's black, either you're a homesteader, you're a black business owner, you're any
involved in the community.
You're off the community doing something. Yeah, you're off grid doing something. You're farming. Anything that's positive, that's a brother or sister doing. We want them on the show.
Right. Leaning towards self-sufficiency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So for those of y'all listening, because I was curious, like, wow. And I remember when y'all asked me, I was like, I don't know that, but I understand now that I kind of read a little bit more about it's all inclusive in the way, as long as these principles are expressed through whatever.
Yeah, we've met some pretty cool people that we didn't know before doing the episodes as well. Like, one of my favorites is Black Star Prep.
Was that this year? That was from this.
We never even met him.
Was that this year? Year two?
Yeah, you got it twice.
He's been on it for
3.
Black Star Pep. I saw. Okay, I gotta go back and watch.
Okay, we're going to make that happen real soon.
No, we got to, man. Got to.
What stood out about him? Let's give him a shout out.
Just how serious and passionate he was about preparation and survival.
Right.
You don't get and how alike we were in other ways as well. So for us to be alike in these other ways, but you be so serious over here, it just stands out. You know what I mean? And it's intriguing and it's needed for our community. Wow. We need leaders like that to step up and say, okay, I got this and I can handle this part for us. And y'all just got to trust me. So that's like, he's another brother like us. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I like about him most, and just his passion about preparation. And he's been through some experiences that he can share that helps validate why he's so passionate.
He came twice. You guys had him twice as a guest. Oh, really?
Yeah. One guest I watch over and over again is the one with Brother Abdul.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was real good.
He was talking about just like a lot of these issues that we have within ourselves and our community it could be fixed if we just love each other more.
That's right.
And that shit hit home. You know what I'm saying? Because it's true, and it's simple, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's simple. Yeah, I was watching that, man. Brother Abdul. Yeah. He just said a lot of issues could be fixed if we just love each other more.
That's right.
Stop trying to compete. Stop trying to belittle and you know what I mean? Everything can be fixed with that. So I watched that one probably 6 times.
And that's right why having land and being out off grid is important, because so much of this concrete jungle that we live in is not natural to us in any way, shape, or form. It breeds that competition, it breeds that hate, it brings that anger, that animosity, that tension. When I meet people that come from more rural areas, or countries that are maybe less developed, they always say that about Americans in this country, is that we do operate out of so much animosity and so much hate and so much tension.
That's right.
And part of that is because of where we live. And whenever I come back from the land, I always feel a lot more at peace, a lot more calm, a lot more relaxed. And I think that that lends itself to being able to put yourself in an environment that's conducive to love and not competition or not scarcity. When you're on the land, you realize it's actually abundant. I always tell people that money may not grow on trees, but food does. And so if you have that mindset, you don't have to operate that way with other brothers and sisters. For me, one of my favorite guests was Bridget Pettis, and being able to see all that the sister has done outside, transitioning from sports, professional basketball, to now spearheading different agricultural endeavors within the community.
Nice.
And putting her people first, even though that she don't really have to. She's in a position to where she could do anything that she want with her time and her money, but she chooses to be a beacon of light in the community, and to share her time with us, to be able to come into her place and talk to her. I think was pretty dope.
That's dope.
I'll say for me, in addition to Bridget Pettis, there's two other sisters that came on that really stood out to me. Farmer Miller, so the episode that we did.
I saw that.
Miller, and just the wealth of knowledge and the amount of information that she had, and the fact that she proved that as long as your soil is living soil, you can do what you need to do to get that soil back to living soil. You can grow anything, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
And then when Sister Rachel talked about the fact that we continue to terraform our land because we're after this, we're after the almighty dollar so much that it's destroying the nutrients that are in the soil, and that it's like she gave the analogy of it's like a cutting. You continue to cut and you're cutting your skin, never has time to heal.
Yeah.
So those were two that really enlightened me on the agricultural side of what we're doing as a collective.
I love that. I know one thing that stood out, or that the few episodes I've seen, it's like when you have people that are operating in their passion and or purpose, it's infectious. And I know that Farmer Miller one for sure, honey, that you could eat, sleep, and breathe. That, like, she was just, I could just tell, like, this is what she do. And so that's kind of what I guess intrigued me about talking to you guys today, is like, with this now growing, is there anything, something I watched I have some quotes because I started off with the very first one, which was the Why Buy Land episode. And I was curious. So I remember these are just things that came up. Freedom. You talked about connecting with the land and your spiritual center. That was the one. I know Brother True mentioned. I think, let me go in order. I know Kylan mentioned rediscovering who you were. Learning how to live for the first time came out, and accountability. Brother Nakia mentioned your grandparents were sharecroppers. I saw, what else came out? Land as a priceless asset and protect. I saw these principles that came out, and it made me wonder, like, oh man, you guys bought this open plot of land, and now you've got some years under your belt where there are things that like translated to your own life, like from this process. Yeah. So like what stood out was when I think Brother True had mentioned that quote about like having two wives and like caring for land will help you. Obviously, I'm a woman, so I'm gonna pay attention to a quote that impacts, But seriously, like sometimes you can have a purpose, and this is just what I know in my journey. You can have a purpose that you may not see the unfolding of it or like what it's gonna evolve to, but you're like, oh, it just locks in, right? So have you guys seen or felt any like areas of growth or how it's impacted your life that you didn't expect? Because that's what I care.
Being from the city, we have southern roots, we have country roots, but I think it kind of makes me feel like I'm getting back to it. To the ancestors and the way things used to be, and then also just going out there clears the clutter that in your mind sometimes.
Yeah.
And like every time we go, sometimes I don't even be feeling like going, like, oh man, we going this weekend. I got to clear the weekend, and then when I end up going, it's just like, man,
get out there.
I'm glad I came. As soon as we get out there, it's like when I'm coming back, I feel renewed. I feel sharper. I feel just better. So that's one thing it changed, and then just knowing that, I don't like to say like generational curses, but generational issues.
It's real.
We've all fix that just by whether we don't do nothing with it. The fact that we have it
That's right.
It's generational building right then and there.
Where's your family from?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. What about the rest of you guys? I'm curious. Have there been any like, I don't know, epiphanies or like ways it's
Like
translated?
Carlon was saying earlier, it's like an ever evolving process in this journey. And for me, I feel like it may sound weird, but I feel like it's
That ain't weird. Y'all are real connected. Okay.
But
I love it.
it's weird
How?
because you feel like all my life I've been a man, and then you get into this place and it's like, oh damn.
Is it because it's forcing you to figure things out?
it's forcing
Yeah.
us to figure things out.
I saw you with that.
Yeah, it did
I
goes.
saw
It
that.
reminds me of the shed. So Brother DeLon went and got a shed for us. Now,
Oh yeah. Nah, Kyle, I got it from Kylan. The one from Amazon.
this shed was taken apart. We had zero instruction.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was interesting.
As collectively, though, we started the process of figuring it out, starting with the foundation, right, of that shed, and we were able to reconstruct that shed without any instructions, and neither one of us ever had any experience with it. Matter of fact, DeLon wasn't even there that trip. He couldn't make it for that particular trip,
Wow.
and he was the one who had all the material for it. And I think you took it apart, right? Or no, it was
No,
already.
when I picked it up from Amazon, it was already it was already pretty much. Pretty much. We just pallet up it. You know what I mean? We just put it on the back of the truck.
Full trial and error, but we were able to figure it out. We never gave up on it, and we were able to show our resilience through putting together that shed. And it was a challenge.
That was the first thing we actually built on the land too. That's crazy that you say that now. Yeah.
Tool shape now, we using it too.
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
For me, oh, actually, go ahead, True, because you was about to go.
Well, I'll just say, just last year on Plan of Progress, one of my favorite episodes out of many was this brother talking about his travels to Kenya.
Man, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Nah, I think for me, right, the epiphany moment came very early in the process, and that every day I wake up, it just reaffirms it. And that's when we got the land and our first time going, I realized how much of a slave I am to this system and to this way of life. And in the beginning, it was mainly because it's like, okay, I have all this land now. I don't know what to do. And I don't even know how to do it. At that time, I hadn't grown anything. I hadn't raised anything. I hadn't really built anything. I hadn't done anything.
Wow.
And so if I always fashion myself as one of the people say, you can drop me off anywhere in the world and I'll be able to figure it out and
That's
I'll
right.
make it.
That's
and
right.
for the first time in my life, I was in a position was like, that ain't true. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like you
I
feel like a
feel the
man
same.
for the first time in your life. And ever since then, I've embarked on a personal journey, right? I'm like, okay, let me learn now. If worse came to worse and I had to go onto this land, how am I going to be able to survive and protect and take care of me and my family? So it's like, okay, now my house, now we're growing things. Now we have livestock. Now we building a chicken coop. Like we're doing all of these different things now to be able to feel more like a good steward of the land. And it's actually been really liberating. It's been very liberating now knowing that I can make do with little and I can make do with a lot. That I can literally now make nothing into something. And that's probably been the biggest epiphany is that, yeah, I do feel much more like a man and I know that I could do it. I know that if worse came to worse, I could do it. So that's probably been the biggest one for me.
Yeah, and I think that's what's lack. Well, I don't want to speak in the word of lack, but what I find would be refreshing for young Black men or even peers is that confidence that comes out. And like that's what intrigued me is like, okay, what have you guys gotten from this? And I'm hearing and I'm seeing the confidence. It's just a peace. There's the knowledge obviously that exists, but then the maturity. Like, there's so many offshoots of positive growth in the growth spot that I see just from being in this conversation. I know. So I'm like that's why I'm
For me, so you mentioned it earlier. I talked about my grandparents, right? So for me, it almost brought me back to my childhood. So this venture, I got to see my grandfather do pretty much all things. He was a carpenter, a farmer, mechanic. I mean, all of these different things that he was. And for me, this brought me full circle back to that moment of now I've got this blank canvas, and now I can go out there and start doing some of those same things that I saw my grandfather do. I say this all the time. I use the quote that a lot of people know, which is I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none, but still better than a master of one. Most people leave off that last
They
piece.
do.
And it allowed for me to come back to the place of seeing my grandparents who were sharecroppers, who ended up eventually having their land taken from them. It goes back to that moment of how to really just grind and get it out the mud.
Yeah. Is the ultimate goal for the land for you all to, and I mean, was there a vision in terms of like multiple, is it going to be like a compound, a community, or how is that?
That's a piece of it.
Yeah, I think we see it as a communal space, not only for ourselves personally, but extended family, friends eventually at full maturation. Just to add on to what's already been said, for me, the space really defined like what needs to be prioritized in my life, right? Um, a lot of people articulate that we're not our ancestors. We are not. But I think when they say that, they intended like in a different way. But to Bilal's point, when you get there and you're standing on this blank canvas, you understand how much you have taken for granted and how much is ahead of you in regard to like personal development, because all development starts with personal development.
That's right.
So we start there, and by all of us collectively taking steps, we're able to extrapolate our efforts into a grander, scale into this project. Um, with the trajectory that is set for not sustainability, but regenerative, right? Sustainability sort of implies that we're just above water. We're sustaining this effort. We want it to be regenerative, right? So that piece brings in the youth, right? So that it keeps going. This is a grand cycle that's perpetual. And regardless of what we're doing, if we don't involve the youth at some instance, I mean, what are we really doing? It's in vain because it has to be sustained, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of efforts that we see, they're great ideas, but do they sustain or do they propel like perpetually?
I think we're seeing that a lot in like the church arena right now. You're seeing that a lot of churches are really on their last leg now because they didn't set up any type of succession plan. The preacher's been the preacher for 70 years.
Right.
All of a sudden, now you're scrambling trying to find someone to come in, but you're not setting up the next generation.
That's right. Which will bring us to the well. So I just thought about another question though, in light of that, because you guys have been such a unit. Do you get approached by other, I don't know, entities that might be aligned? Because it makes me think about you. Well, because you get such, for me, just as if I were a first time listener, it's very clear. The intention is there, and those are the pillars: intentionality, purpose, good character. So I'm like, is it such that, oh, we work with the youth, or we work, like, have you come across any, like, I don't know, because as people are watching, my thought is like, I want this vision to expand. I want us to know how can we support. We want to talk about the legacy camp, obviously, but that just came up for some reason. I'm thinking, like, do people try to approach you guys, and how does that always?
So we've had some people that have recently approached us with opportunities, with great opportunities that are out there available. I will say this: we have an incubator that already is set up when it comes to the youth. We already do work in the community. That's a huge part of what OBFC does, and we already work with the youth. So I think that piece, we've got a solid foundation there. Doesn't mean that we won't, that there's not other people that have that as well.
Sure.
We're always looking for the opportunity to collaborate, but we have to be strategic with how we make that collaboration
That's
happen
right.
in order to protect the collective and protect the vision of where this is heading. As mentioned earlier, you've always got those agent provocateurs, as the brother said on the.
Love that term. That's a real term right there.
And so you have to be aware of your partnerships, and you have to realize that not everything that's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Right.
And so, so I say that we're always looking for the opportunity to partner. We're always looking for people to come out that really have a passion for doing the work. We're always looking for those types of things.
Real collaboration.
When it comes to partnership and collaboration, we always are open for that, but we're also cautious with how we do that because we know what we have is something special.
So let's talk about that because I'm gonna make it plain. I guess I share some of your qualities. I'm gonna like cut to the chase, make it plain, cut out all like I can speak big words, but I prefer not to hear them back to back all the time. So if somebody's watching, I know. Let's talk about the Legacy Camp. Would you guys say that is like the nucleus and focus, so we could talk about exactly what it is?
To this point, for sure, the Legacy Camp has been our flagship event that we've now done for 2 years, going on the third year.
That's right.
That is the one event that most people know us from. That, the podcast, our collective efforts, right?
Yep.
So that is right now the one flagship event that we have that is going to help us to transition into now a separate endeavor that we have, right? And I guess we can talk about that. The Legacy Camp, real quick, is May 22nd through the 24th.
Okay. It's always in May, right?
Always, our last one was in October. And I think
We had a fall one as well.
yeah. So it's like we want to try summer, we try fall.
Okay.
We may, Lord willing, we get to a place where we do both.
That's
fall,
right.
Summer
May
and
and
fall.
October. That's dope.
But a lot of what we do at the Legacy Camp is to educate the youth and to teach them things like Concrete 101, to teach them archery, breath work, meditation. Some of these kids have fished for the first time.
Right.
And so we look at the world in which we live in and the times in which we in with AI, with our education system kind of, I don't want to call it being in shambles, but it's definitely not first world, I don't think. We have decided to embark now on an endeavor to train the youth in the trades as well. Because if you can start showing the young men at an early age about these different trades like plumbing, electrical work, carpentry, cement work, things like that, what you're doing is you're doing a few things. Is you're preparing them for manhood, but you're also now giving them a gateway to be able to provide and earn for yourself.
That's right.
You can take that skill, you can go get a job, or you can now transition into entrepreneurialism, and now you can own your job and you can start a business. And so we just see it as a natural evolution of building the community and being a beacon of light within the community and using the camp now to serve another additional purpose.
So are you saying that the young brothers will come into the camp, you expose? Because when I was watching the highlight video, everyone was like, archery, the archery, you know, pretty much most of them, except for the one brother like to walk. But then do you then evolve? They come back from the camp and then it'll be like classes or these different like seminars?
So they'll work in tandem, right?
Okay.
Our Roots Academy, which is essentially the trade arm of the Growth Spot nonprofit, will utilize now the Legacy Camp as a means to take what you learn in the workshop in the classroom, and now you can come into real world application. You can come out to the land and you can now put these skills to use, so that now you're not just learning in a classroom setting, but you actually get to build out a structure. You actually get to apply these very principles in a real world way.
And Roots Academy, is that a new?
Yeah, that's a new venture. It's all part of the Growth Spot.
They're probably gonna hear it for the first time.
Look, for the first time.
So that's also an acronym: Rising Opportunities for Occupational Training.
Yes. What's the S?
No S. It's
Okay. It's Roots Academy. Oh, I love that. Okay. Rising occupation.
No, it is.
Rising opportunities for
Rising
occupation.
Opportunities for Occupational Training.
Training.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I think that's saying safety.
Always safety. We can throw the S on there.
Yeah. Either way.
But no, so in this,
We're working on this. This is fluid, but this is like we're in heated talks now
Right
about
now with people
collaborating with entities that already have occupational training,
okay.
as well as with different partners, people who can help to facilitate some of these workshop and classes.
Okay.
May be able to lend their services to provide ride-alongs and things like on-the-job training.
I love it.
So no, this is something that we're actively and aggressively moving towards in 2026.
So in the spirit of making it plain, just to recap, because people sometimes lose their focus, the Legacy Camp, if one were to support, would it be by way of like writing a check, like giving a donation, sponsoring a young man, food? Like what are the actual because people want to collaborate and then take their vision and put it on top of yours. So what is the
As a
strategic
nonprofit,
way?
we can accept all donations, and we're able to give them now the tax deduction in kind.
Okay.
So you have the ability to sponsor a child, or you can just make a cash or tax deductible donation.
Okay.
But we also need materials, right? If we're talking
Tents,
about tents,
sleeping bags.
fishing poles, like all of these things would definitely be a resource of use. food, but also now materials to do the trade, right? If we're doing concrete, bags of concrete, wood, stencils, things like that.
Okay.
Anything that we can use for real world application of these trades. Exactly.
Okay.
Because we want to be able to teach these young men how to build the structure from bottom to the top. So even transportation as well. We have a campaign that we're working on towards trying to get a van. Because for the sake of argument, what the biggest expense that we incur for the Legacy Camp is the transporting the young men to and from the camp.
Okay.
And so that's part of the admission. But if we had the ability now to have a van, we can actually lower the cost
100%.
of the camp to make it a little bit more affordable for all parents. You know what I mean?
So,
Ideally,
yeah.
if we're looking at it, futuristically, right? Ideally, our goal would be that parents wouldn't have to come out of pocket for anything. Ideally, this would be funded by, community and by, people, businesses, organizations that really want to get involved and people that are doing the work.
That's right.
Like we're already doing the work and we're going to continue to do the work.
That's right.
But this would allow for us to be able to partner with people that really want an avenue that they can support something that's good for the people.
That's right.
And for the youth. And so ideally, we would hope that the whole entire camp would be taken care of
Love it.
by, those that are sponsors that are looking, philanthropists, for example. People that are looking to be able to find a way to give back and to donate to someone that's actually doing the work.
That's right.
That would be the ideal.
100%. We're in a position really quick to be able to say that whatever it is that you can do, whether it's a couple of dollars, you got some food, some gas cards, whatever it is that any individual can do, we definitely need that and we encourage that and we appreciate that. We receive that. But I think coming into 2026, the biggest thing that we're looking for is corporate sponsorships. How can we partner up with corporate sponsorships to ensure that we're able to do, like the brother said, put the camp on so that there isn't any expense incurred on the family, but now we can do the most good because we have partnerships with people that can help us to take our organization to the next level.
But that's why this is helpful to spell out, because I wouldn't have guessed that transportation was the biggest cost,
Because keep in mind, the land, the acreage that we have, it's 3 hours and about 45 minutes and change from here.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
east Arizona. So we're about 40 minutes from the New Mexico border. To be
Okay.
precise.
Wow.
And so that's why that expense is such a large expense as a part of what we do.
Okay.
Ideally, our goal as the men that are hosting the camp would be to just simply be able to focus on the youth.
That's right.
That's our goal. Our goal is simply pour back, right? Our cup, and I'll speak for myself, my cup runneth over. And so unless I pour out some more of that cup, I can't receive more.
That's right.
And so this would ideally allow us the ability to take care of that entire expense to ensure that we're able to impact more young men. Because right now our camp, we limit it to about a range of 20. That would be probably the max of what we support with the collective, the 7 of us, right? But if we had additional mentors that showed up and that wanted to support, which we know plenty of people in the community that are willing to just simply donate their time. If we had the financial piece that was taken care of, that allows us to really tap in and focus on them and do exactly what we need to do for the Legacy Camp, which is to set the young men up for a better future.
I was curious too, because I saw one of the moms, I think someone asked about food. So then, obviously, so transportation, actual physical presence, and by way of mentor, money, sometimes people need to know, and even corporate sponsors, they want to know where you align with their, vision, bottom line. So food, how are you guys cooking every meal? Is it like, tell me how, I was curious, just so people watching, if they work for a company, I'm like, are you eating sandwich? Is it cold food? Are y'all scrambling eggs? Are you building a fire?
All the above, really. All the above.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little grill?
And we typically have an orientation with the families before we take
dietary
off,
restrictions.
so we can go over all the restrictions, anything we need to be considerate of, any preferences, things of that nature. And then, we do a healthy mix of cooked food on the grill and
Snack, as long as you share them.
abundance of hydration.
I know the people. Okay, what else did you say? You said fruit for
Yeah.
sure for the non-meat
Heavy
eaters.
on the hydration because we're active. Right. It's an interactive
Hiking
experience, right? We're moving around, we're sweating, we got our hands in the soil, we're getting dirty. I mean, we men and we got the boys with us. So it solves a multitude of problems, right?
Yeah.
Why are we, I'm the why person, right?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this, right? So it serves as a rites of passage in a sense. And I'm big on demonstration, right? I think a lot of people articulate great ideas and concepts to our youth, but it doesn't always translate because from my perspective, the youth don't necessarily see that being put in practice.
That's right.
Right. So not only are we doing that, but we own this space also, right? So we serve as examples to them because we were once in their position. So it's like, hey, you can mature into this as well. We did it, you can do it as well.
That's right.
So it's educational and then it's therapeutic as well. We have a bonfire session,
Man,
on one of the nights where we vent, right? We open up and we allow them to speak. More importantly, we ask questions. Sometimes we'll have some guided conversation just to hear their perspective, just to keep that bridge to the youth intact.
Yeah. Does it usually flow easily? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think
yeah, they open
they
up.
open
They
up.
share a lot that they probably won't even share
Yeah.
in arenas with their parents. Probably sometimes they'll open up and share with us because it goes back to what we talked about the call. We create that safe space to allow them to open up.
Yeah. I love
They
that.
tap in at that point because these may or may not work. So you're out there open. You know what I mean? And so your mind is open. So
Is that a rule?
So Wi-Fi
Yes.
detox.
Wi-Fi.
That was there's nothing better than that because these days
Top like no phones. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have certain times
That's
delegated
good.
to them to be able to make a call, maybe take some pictures. But
And we let the parents know to reach out to us. If,
That's right.
They can reach out. They can always access us. But yeah, the children. Our goal, we want to remove any barrier from the creativity that is generated in the environment.
Man, well, honestly, as again, just a supporter, I wanted people to know about the camp, to hear from you guys' mouths. But that's true what you say. I think in this culture, everybody's so addicted, no age attached to our devices, to where you get out there and that recalibration and that reset really does change. It could change your perspective. It could take stress off of you. It could heal you in a lot of ways. And that's what I'm sensing happens on those grounds with you guys. So that's dope. So then it's coming up in May, right? You have the dates.
Memorial Day week.
Memorial Day weekend, and it happened in October, and that's strategic. Is the root entity already
So
happening?
great question. But right now we're partnering with. We've got a great partnership with the local school. We've got a sister of ours that we interviewed that she actually has a school that's up and running. She started her own school.
Nice.
So shout out to Dr. Kelvin.
MBEE.
Yeah.
we mastered
Shout
basics
out.
earlier.
Master in the basics.
BEE, shout out.
And she put out a call for the community, specifically for men to come in and to help teach.
Yep.
And so with Roots Academy, our goal is to be that bridge for her to help and to provide the resources that are necessary to help these kids get additional skills and resources. At least expose them to something that they may have not have been exposed to, and to help them to cultivate those skills that they may not even know that they have.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're excited because Dr. Kelmer, she loves the approach and she loves what we're doing. We're working with other entities that are in the valley already that have their trade schools that may have different areas of focus.
Yeah.
But we're being the bridge between them and the youth.
How did you guys come to decide which trades? Because I know we got I'm thinking of holistically, we have creativity in all of us. Creativity comes from the creator. That's what my friend taught me. But the skills that you guys are teaching are not necessarily, hitting the table or shooting something. So I love that, because we all have a poet in us or maybe, or a producer in us. But how did you guys come to decide which trades you were going to focus on?
Well, I think in the beginning it started. He had the concrete knowledge.
Yeah, so my professional background is like construction management and building code enforcement. And one thing that I do know is that we are significantly underrepresented in those professional trades. And there's a tremendous amount of opportunity, especially in this landscape, when we consider how much Phoenix continues to grow.
Yeah.
And I show up on these job sites and I may see one or two here or there, right? But considering what is missing as far as like our youth having other baskets instead of just sports and entertainment.
That's right.
Construction is abundant, right? And I just personally, I have a desire to, you know, influence some change as far as getting us more present on these job sites. So, like I mentioned, like our ancestors and the skills that were like first nature to them in the past, right? Like my grandfather, he built an addition on to their house back in the day. I want to see a day where someone can say, yeah, my daddy built this, and you know what I mean, and I helped lay the bricks, that sort of thing, right? So, as far as electrician, plumbing, HVAC. Those are like the core, right? And then you have the structural applications as well. But when you literally insert yourselves into these trades and gain those certifications, I mean, you can feed yourself, right?
Yeah.
These are skills that translate everywhere, right?
Yeah.
These are global, right?
Give a man a fish.
Yeah.
He'll eat for a day, but you teach him to fish.
Yeah.
I'm in the HVAC field, and it's not many of us in that field as well.
Yeah.
They don't even know about it. I wish I would have known about it, earlier in life. But yeah, this is decent money.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really good money.
The biggest thing for us is that in the beginning, obviously, you start with what you have the ability to teach. I've worked in a lot of different fields of construction, but I wouldn't call myself a master. So for me to be teaching a skill, I don't have the framework. I can just say, man, just watch what I do, and we'll get it, work it out. But the long-term goal is to be able to teach all the trades.
Yeah.
Because that's what is needed. Each individual trade, the main ones like plumbing, electrical, HVAC, carpentry, they definitely need people. But then you can narrow down on a more micro level, and you can teach, people how to do flooring or how to do ceiling. I worked in fire protection for a long time. So there's a lot of different nuanced aspects to construction technology and the trades that there's enough people in our community that we can fill this void, and then that can actually be our gateway to mastering an entire industry, because that's one of the things that our collective community, other than entertainment, we haven't really mastered anything. We don't master anything that you can say that's what we're known for. So this is an entryway into being able to say, over the long term, we can do the most good for our community by introducing our young men and even some of our young women to these skills and these trades.
I love that.
And think about it like this, right? Emancipation Proclamation, right? Right after the Emancipation Proclamation, who had all the skills?
Us.
We did.
We did.
Do you see what I'm saying? So this is an opportunity to reset the playing field, per se, and start back teaching those skills.
Yeah.
Giving the youth those skills. And another thing I'll say, and I'll end it here, but they're literally able to leave their imprint on a fire pit that we have on the land. They're literally, the young men are able to leave their imprint. That's part of the legacy camp.
I love that.
So,
Oh man.
I want to emphasize something you just said, though.
Please.
And I think the burden is on us, our generation in particular, because we're aware of that history.
That's right.
We're not as out of touch with it, right?
Right in that.
But we can kind of see where this thing is heading, right? So to me, that highlights the sense of urgency with these sort of efforts, right? And it doesn't have to start and end with us. Hopefully others, band together and implement things like what we're doing, and maybe we can all collaborate. But I think like the Roots program is a prerequisite to a true community.
Yeah.
Right? We use that term pretty loosely now, but when you think about what an actual community is, it's multifaceted, right? You have a lot of different disciplines. You have educators, you have trades, professionals, you have healers, you have service providers, doulas, food providers, entertainers, all of that. Somehow we've stripped a lot of that down to like entertainment, where everyone is like focused, right? And it's not to demonize those areas,
but I think
but
that's intentional too.
Absolutely. We need to diversify our assets in the community, and we're our best assets, right? But we gotta be clear on the prioritization of where we're putting our efforts.
And what you said really quick about community, right? Like community now is used to talk about a particular people, shaded people, whereas once upon a time, community was an actual place. It was a location where we all lived, we all resided, and we could all mutually benefit from the services of others.
That's right.
If I'm skilled in electrical and you have an electrical problem, I'll come through and I'll take care of that for you, no
That's right.
problem. So that we don't have to go outside of our community like other nationalities do, not just here but abroad. Is that you don't have to go out. So we're just talking about the nation, right? Is that you could pretty much, the Nation of Islam, find somebody within the community that does anything that you're looking for. They'll have the service. It doesn't matter what it is. You'll find somebody within that community network. And so that's what we're trying to do, is another iteration of that isn't based on a spirituality, or it's just based on a like-minded idea of saying, I want to be around people that share the same values and same principles as I do.
Yeah, fostering that unity. It's definitely infectious. So tell folks, how can we support? I know we've discussed kind of off camera just potentially having a fundraiser event, but is the goal just to go to your website? Is that the easiest and quickest way?
The two best ways to be able to support is to go to the website, thegrowthspot.org, or you can shoot us an email. You can hit us up at info@thegrowthspot.org. If it's not right, you can't go and you don't have a monetary donation, hit us up at info@thegrowthspot.org and tell us what you can do or how you can support. Because even if it's just some sweat equity, you say, man, I got a couple hours a month I can donate or I can give, we'll accept that. We'll take that. But we're looking for anything that you can donate, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's resources, material. If you want to talk about corporate partnerships, that's definitely one of the best ways to reach out to us.
If you just simply know people, again, growthspot.org/take dash or hyphen action.
Yeah.
That's directly to our support link. Brother mentioned resources. You can support us there. We're also on YouTube, so collectively, you'll find us at TGS Legacy. So it stands for The Growth Spot Legacy is where you'll find us on YouTube. You can also find us at Growth Spot Squad on Instagram. Facebook, you'll find us The Growth Spot as well on Facebook. So we're on all of the social media, let's say most of the social media platforms. Fan base. Shout out to fan base.
Shout out fan base.
So you'll find us on fan base as well. Again, collectively having conversations like this, pulling resources, and doing what we do.
I love it. On your website, just out of curiosity, because again, I want to list it. Do you guys have it listed, like the supplies and materials that will help support the camp?
That's
you know what I mean?
So we do have, it's not on our website yet, but we are working on a campaign list to say, all right, if you want to help support donation for the van, for a materials list, for a resource guide, like we are working on getting that on the website.
Yeah, one of you guys said, I think it might have been Brother Valawi, said, we all do a little, nobody got to do a lot. That was Brother Crown. Look, let me drop this quote. You hear me? I caught it. But just so y'all know, I mean, I paid attention.
You did by that.
Period. So I'm like, I wanted to make it plain for the people. How could we support? What are the supplies? Because, like, everybody might not, especially at the top of the year,
Fencing. So fencing, septic tank, the building out of the structure, so the electrical, the drywalling, all of that, everything. And we had man, shout out to Pastor Thomas as well. So Pastor Thomas knows a friend that does framing. He donated a bunch of the supplies and equipment that we need to start the process, the tools and stuff that we need to start doing a lot of the framing inside of the structure that we have on the land. I don't think we mentioned that either. That so this past Legacy Camp, we celebrated our first structure. It was delivered during the Legacy Camp.
Wow. Congratulations.
That was huge.
This is big.
I got my keys.
Listen, you guys don't understand because you live and breathe in and walk in it. But as somebody, like I said, my family came here to meet you guys today. But it could be overwhelming. So I can only imagine for a young person, it's overwhelming to hear, openly. Like I'm a visionary, but I need a team and then I execute. So it's like the fact that you all have the courage, have the vision, have the stick-to-itiveness, and just the foresight to pass that on. It's just to be commended. So that is what.
Yeah, and I kind of acknowledge all of this as positive peer pressure as well.
Yeah,
because we say all these great things, we're doing all these great things, but then we bring the youth along.
That's right.
And we express to them, hey, this is actually what we're doing. Right.
Yeah.
Now, due to our affiliations with these families, it's pretty high likelihood that we're going to encounter, or they come to another legacy camp. They're going to want to know what happened. Like, okay, what's the next step? What
That's
you got? Right. So that's another layer of accountability that we're not shying away from. Right.
Yeah.
So not only are we holding each other accountable, like we need
bring it in the community, right?
Yeah,
That's additional
absolutely.
accountability.
That's a good point. Are the young men, do they like continue to reach out? Because they don't have you guys in there.
After the last legacy camp,
Okay, yeah.
we followed up with another fishing event. You can speak to it because I wasn't at the event, but I know some of them took a liking to the fishing.
Yeah, because the spark comes on when they're in presence, and then they go back to maybe where there aren't any positive male figures, I would imagine.
Well, you know, a lot of this is that the parents are yearning for it.
Yes.
They want, these mothers want their young men to be involved in something positive.
That's right.
Positive, brother. So after the last legacy camp, there was parents that reached out like, hey, well, you guys got a fishing trip as well? Because we talked about it on the legacy camp. So some young brothers attended the fishing trip, and the first fish that was caught at the fishing trip was by somebody who almost caught the first fish at the legacy camp.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Coming full circle
as well to the Single Fathers Network as well. They put on the event.
Yeah.
The event took place November 1st.
Nice.
So our legacy camp ended, what was it, October the 17th?
19.
19th. And they had that event already scheduled, and it ended up having to be rescheduled because of rain during the weekend that it was originally scheduled for. But yeah, November 1st, we pulled up, and yeah, first person to catch a fish, man. It was
boy Malik, man. My boy.
Shout out.
And he make a mean bean pie, man. I'm coming for some of those.
Fishing with the big
Yeah, but that's the beautiful thing about it, right? Is that this I don't speak for myself, right? Growing up, this was the part of community that I wish that I had, because I grew up in a big city, and it was like gangs was the way that you found community when I was growing up.
That's right.
You know, and so now the interaction that we have with these young men, I just try to instill in them what I wish somebody would have poured into me. And it's beautiful to be able to have a collective of brothers do that with.
Speaking of, so you mentioned the website too. Talking about, you know, the collective. On the website, we also have a spot dedicated directly to the legacy camp. So we'll start the process. You know, again, it's the beginning of the year. We're starting to turn over new leaves, things like that, and put our calendar and stuff out there.
Good.
But we're gonna update the legacy camp information on our website. So again, growspot.org/legacy camp is where you can find information about that, or just click on growspot.org, click on the menu, and you'll see the drop down there. That's the legacy camp.
I saw something on the lower, at the last, I think it was maybe the video you guys did before the camp, and it said something about let's get free.
Ooh,
what was that?
Yeah, so
I pay attention. You hear me? I wasn't going to okie doke this interview.
It's an idea that we have to bring together community resources that do,
especially right now,
along the same line of what we do, right? So agriculture, whether that's farming, livestock, building, whether it's about land ownership, and it's an opportunity for us to educate and inform people about the process, right? So we take all of these podcast episodes and we put it together into one event.
That's right.
Where now we have all of these different things, and we kind of consider it more of a mastermind. And so we had to actually, because we put the legacy camp on in October of last year, we had to move the Let's Get Free, but that's something that I think that we're talking about doing later in this year, to be able to bring together all of these minds that are either interested or they're ready to contribute.
Yeah, and in terms of strategic partnership or fundraising, that feels right. Like that feels like a
We could create a network.
Yeah, and that's
the way I look at it as, right, is like once we reach the maturity of the vision of creating a communal space. Now imagine if we had North St. John's, we had Douglas, Arizona, we had, Eloy, maybe somewhere in Kingman. We have all of these different sister communities to now it's like when I go to California, I tap in with my California people. When I go to Vegas, I tap in with my Vegas people. Houston. So we can now do this, but we can do it off the grid.
Yes.
Instead of using these major cities, now we can have these smaller communities all over that are close-knit and tied in together. So, yeah, we want to be able to share this with people so that when I go out of town, I got another safe space that I can go to, and I know I can be fed I can be whole when I leave.
That's right.
And here's one thing that we've learned too. There's a lot of black homesteaders that are here in Arizona. We just didn't know. And so a part of the Let's Get Free is also about the resources. Yeah. What happens if something, especially with everything that's going on right now in the political arena and the climate that we're in, the environment that we're in, what happens if things hit the fan?
That's right.
And we need to get somewhere. Where are we going to go? What's our, and so a part of Let's Get Free is also about the strategic planning, the community network, and making sure that we're taken care of in the event that something goes down.
That's right.
I like that's a good idea. Good segue to bring in our go bag trainings that we do locally as well. So We're real big on prepping, as I mentioned, preparation and self sustainability. So locally, we hold classes where we teach people of what it's like to have a go bag. What should be in your go bag? What's your plan for if it does hit the fan? Are you leaving? Are you bugging out? Are you bugging in? Just to start to have those conversations with your family, because more than likely is we're going to see some things that we never really planned for.
Yeah.
Sooner than later. Right. Sooner than later.
Like the brother said before, COVID was just a test.
It sure was. And people was going scrambling for toilet paper and wipes was $50 for Clorox wipe. It's crazy. It was insane. Well, I just, I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts or messages, because I just want to say thank you so much. I mean, this is you guys' entity. I just appreciate y'all.
Yes, gratitude for sure.
Yes, keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it as well, and we also appreciate you. Just notifying us on what we do. Sometimes we forget as well.
I know you do, because it's so in you. That's why I'm saying it's infectious. When people see that, it just inspires people to walk in their lane,
Yeah.
And I would say the gratitude comes from the fact that someone saw and recognized that this may be an opportunity for us to really just put people at a place where they need to be. And what we're doing, we don't even think about this. We're just out there doing the work. Like I said, we've got our hands to the plow and we're not looking back. We're doing the work.
That's right.
But it's also great for someone to take the opportunity to say, "Hey, I see what you're doing."
Yeah.
Yeah, when we had our call, when we were just, because the brothers were at your spot, and when this idea came up, so when we all had our call together and they were presenting the idea to us, my thing was, if somebody wants to acknowledge us, that's amazing, because through this journey we've ran into one person, and that's you. Who said who took their time out of their own schedule to say, I want to talk about what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
As much as you guys support
That's
other
okay.
people.
We're not complaining or anything.
Not at all.
We want to highlight everyone as well, but to have somebody say,
Yeah,
we want
that's huge.
to highlight you, that's amazing. I appreciate that.
Man, well, it's only one.
Shout out to us.
In the spirit of that, and in the spirit of all that you've now meant to us as an organization, right? You've been a guest. You've been a safe space for us to come and eat some delicious pizza. Buy the best pizza in the valley. Salad, salad. But I think and appreciation for how the value that you see in us and what your organization has meant to us, and now this partnership, right? Because you're family now.
For sure.
Family now. My man, we have something that we like to present to you.
Look at that.
Indeed.
What in the world?
Who's your favorite hip hop group?
Outcast.
Okay, now.
For sure. Ah, get out. You got me a flag.
Yeah. I have this.
I don't have it. I don't. Ooh. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, wait. Oh, my goodness. And I will put it up.
That's right. So just show some gratitude.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, you guys are dope. Listen, I'm serious. You
You
guys.
tapped in.
I really am. That's why I'm like, I want you guys to meet my family, because they could not wait. But seriously, that last little season was a very low, y'all know. So it's just, there's only one spirit. And when I feel impressed to do something, I do it. And
We're glad to now embrace you as part of the community. You are part of the
100%,
community.
100%.
We want you to continue to be involved in, and whatever you do, the next venture.
Yeah. Well,
we already know.
I know you got some stuff bubbling.
I do, but here's the funny part. This is why I'm like, I was telling you guys, like, when I sat down that day, it wasn't that busy, but that was intentionally. I didn't wake up and say, oh, I want to serve pizza. Like, I'm a connector. Like I said, my career has been as a therapist. I've been a road manager. I've been I've been a bartender. I've had a lot of different trades, but at the heart of it, I believe in connecting with people. I'm all about emotional healing. Believe it or not, it's not so much about food. So I was in alignment, but what really stuck out from what my employees shared with me to even meeting you guys and building community or having customers that felt compelled to come back, that's what stuck with me.
I'm L.E.G.A.C.Y, Executive Director of the Growth Spot Foundation. And what we're doing here at the Growth Spot is more than just building fences or putting together decks or working on outhouses. But what we're doing is we're building a community that is rooted in resiliency and sustainability. What we love to do is we love to teach our community self-sufficiency. And if you would love to be able to support us in many of our endeavors, like the Legacy Camp, like helping us to continue to secure our land, and many of the other projects that we're going to, then you can donate going directly to our website at thegrowthspot.org, or you can actually outfit yourself in some fly merch. You can go to our page at bonfire.com. You just got to search for the Growth Spot, and you'll see that we have a campaign for Legacy and many other projects that we have coming down the pipeline. Remember, we are 501c3, so every time you donate, you have the ability to get it back on your taxes. So take advantage of the tax deduction, take advantage of an opportunity to support the youth of our community, but more importantly, take an opportunity to invest in all of us as part of the community, because what we're doing here is bigger than me, it's bigger than my brother, it's even bigger than my son here. This is something that we're doing for the community. This is called legacy. It's love, equity, growth, ancestry, cooperation, and yield. Again, thegrowthspot.org is how you can support us. If you want to be able to be dripped out in some fly merch, then you can go to bonfire.com, just search for the Growth Spot, and you can go ahead and you can cop some merch, and all of the proceeds go to all of the different projects that we have going on. First and foremost, upcoming is the Legacy Camp. We have our fence project ongoing, and you can check our website and see some of the other projects that we have going. Support our community, support our youth, support yourself.
Thank you, guys.
Man,
Thank you.
Yay!
it's been a dope episode, man.
Let's
So,
peace out.
man, this has been right on topic with what our mission is, and we greatly appreciate you tuning in. We are glad that you will continue to come back to this space. But here at the Growth Spot, we're unified in action to build, protect, and expand a fruitful legacy of love, equity, growth, ancestry, cooperation, and yield. By inspiring and educating on the practices of self-care, nutrition, environmental stewardship, and entrepreneurship, we aim to cultivate a vibrant community rooted in resilience and sustainability.
I
Putting my race first. Be a proud black